On Christmas Day of 2019, I left California after living there for 12 and a half years, and I moved across the country to Central Virginia. For me, it was a big deal. For the first time in a long time, my mind and spirit felt unencumbered. Like for many of us, 2020 really gave me time to stew and tinker. I platinumed Dragon Quest XI for some reason. I toiled away endlessly on my 1982 to 1994 G.I. Joe collection. Oh, and I bought a new house and I'm learning how to tend to it, which has been an unusual experience for a nerd like me. Can you believe I changed one of those ceiling HVAC vent filters all by myself? It was arguably the manliest thing I've ever done. Anyway, for all of that tinkering and stewing, I also finally had time to think, which I was so enormously grateful for. I was especially keen on contemplating what could be next for my company, Colin's Last Stand, especially now that I'm moving through my mid-30s, settling into a new life, and watching so much Steve Wilkos on YouTube that it's basically all their mysterious algorithm recommends to me. Now, as a lot of you know, I do much of my heavy thinking in the shower. I love being in there, the water hitting my body, my mind in another place, unchained and unfettered. It was there that I pondered my options, and really, there were only two viable and reasonable ones. CLS could stay the same, or it could continue to change. Embracing our Pokemon-like evolution so far, I chose the latter option. Like so many companies before it, CLS has morphed over time, just like Samus turning into that little tasty-looking honeycomb. See, neither show from our launch year even exists anymore, as Colin's Last Stand has embraced the audience's sincere desire for nerd culture content more and more as time marched on. Fast forward from the company's early 2017 founding, and CLS is today in 2021 the most supported gaming podcast network on Patreon, and provides a couple of weekly offerings that are amongst our hobby's most listened to fare on iTunes, Spotify, and elsewhere. We've built something truly awesome together, and we did it with virtually no industry support or goodwill, which I'm particularly proud of, because so many people were, are, and will continue to pull for us to fail for some reason. We've managed to come this far only because our audience loves the content so much that they're willing to financially support it by the thousands. Through grit, determination, quality, consistency, and candor, we thrived, and we did it together. I'm immensely proud of what we've accomplished, and I want to truly thank you for that. Our fans are this brand's true heroes. So let's start there with the we, and let's alter the brand's name ever so slightly to reflect that, because this brand isn't only about me anymore. Frankly, it hasn't been in a while. We've brought in other talented people since 2017, Dagan, Chris, and others, that have earned their place here. And so Colin's Last Stand will now be known as Last Stand Media. It's a simple change that honestly won't mean much of anything for all of you out there, but for me and for us, it's substantial. You can call us Last Stand or Last Stand Media, it doesn't really matter. Just don't call us late for dinner. Our operation will continue to be small, but I do have two personnel announcements too. As you may know, my first full-time employee, Dustin Furman, is now Last Stand Media's executive producer, and we've hired someone new to be our associate producer, editor, and doer, Ben Smith. He's awesome, be nice to him. He's the mayor of a small Pennsylvania town, and he can probably throw you in a local jail or something. Having employees in addition to freelancers and paying everyone fairly is completely due to your support on Patreon. We've been on Patreon since 2017, and we aren't going anywhere, but you can now find us at patreon.com/laststandmedia. If you go to the old URL, patreon.com/colinslaststand, it'll bring you to the same place, so really you can use either link. And all of the tiers remain exactly as they were, packed with the content you already love. Our PlayStation podcast, Sacred Symbols, and our retro and nostalgia podcast, Knockback, will continue to publish each week, as will Sacred Symbols Plus. And patrons will get all of the same perks you've already come to expect. It's just that we're now going to add a little more high-quality content. The biggest addition to our roster is, well, a brand new podcast. It's called The Finding Duke, an Xbox podcast, and I am so friggin' excited about who I got to help make it a reality. Defining Duke will be a weekly offering all about Xbox Series X and Xbox One, co-hosted by popular YouTubers and podcasters, Mr. Matty Plays and ACG, who combined have 1+ million subscribers on YouTube. By the time you're seeing this video, episode 0 of Defining Duke is already live, and you can look forward to new episodes each and every Thursday on Patreon, with episodes publishing publicly 3 days later. Defining Duke publishing on Thursdays will move Knockback to Mondays, but that's the only scheduling change we have to report. Of course, we have one last thing for you, and it's perhaps what many of you have been asking for more than anything. Video podcasts. Beginning right now, every episode of Sacred Symbols will be a video podcast in addition to an audio podcast. So if you watch on YouTube and you're tired of looking at the show's thumbnail slowly scrolling across your screen, well, you're in luck. And obviously, Defining Duke will be on video from the very beginning. Like with all of our content, patrons will get first crack at video as well as audio. So I think that's everything. See, Last Stand Media is going to remain a small, upstart, and lean company. We have no interest in tossing 50 new pieces of content a year at you or begging you for your support based on throwing things at the wall. Instead, we're just going to give you really high quality content for the same exact price you've already been paying on Patreon. More content could be en route, but that's entirely up to you. You'll see on Patreon at patreon.com/laststandmedia that we've created a series of stretch goals based on cumulative subscribers. If you want more content, like a second episode of Sacred Symbols Plus a week, or an additional episode of Defining Duke a week, or a knockback Let's Plays and more, please consider supporting us. And definitely consider supporting us if you like what we already do. We say this a lot, but it bears repeating. We couldn't do any of this without you. If you already support us, you're only getting more in 2021. If you're new, welcome aboard. We here at Last Stand Media are wishing you and yours nothing but the absolute best in 2021 and beyond, and hope you continue to stick around with us as Last Stand trucks on. Sacred Symbols, Knockback, and Defining Duke represent a triumvirate we are truly proud of, and we hope you feel the same. Happy 2021. Let's do this.